Hi everyone, welcome to Grow Roots. This is Shannon, and today I am going to take you on an April Texas garden tour of my backyard. It is looking so beautiful already here in mid-April, and I cannot wait to show you. So let's go. Hi everyone, and welcome to Grow Roots. I am so glad that you found my channel, or if you are already subscribed, I'm so glad that you have returned to my channel for the April backyard garden tour. I'm so excited to show you all. It's kind of survival of the fittest, especially right there, because things are just exploding right now. Yeah. So I have lots of different gardens, parts shade gardens, full sun gardens, all of the things for you guys today. So I'm actually going to be starting right here. This is a brand new garden. This is my shed garden is what I'm calling it now. We installed this shed, gosh, I think it was August of last year. And so these plants have only been in the ground since about August, I want to say. It's just when it started to cool off, maybe even September. And wow, I cannot believe how everything has filled in. I'm going to start with this border. This border that you see, that's just this beautiful pop of like yellow. This is lemon coral sedum. And I had envisioned this for my border, and it's exactly what I had visioned. Honestly, it's filling in so nicely. It's actually in bloom right now. I love lemon coral sedum, and especially when it's blooming. And especially right here, like this one has gotten massive, but they have filled in so nicely. Now, there were a couple I had to replace. I had to replace this one, and I had to replace this one. I probably could have replaced this because it's not as grown in as the other ones are, but they are just looking so spectacular. And then right behind that is a row of Stella d'Oro daylilies. These are rock stars. Even for the daylilies themselves are already rock stars, but Stella d'Oro is one of the toughest type of daylily you can get. And honestly, reblooming. Like this is its first flush of blooms, but this is my first time with Stella d'Oro, but my understanding is that they will rebloom all season long. And that is exactly what I wanted. I had a vision of these daylilies with the lemon coral sedum in front, and it has not disappointed. They are so beautiful. And then they are also hiding my daffodil foliage. I had really pretty yellow and white. See, here's one. Here's a beautiful little daffodil, one of the last ones of the season. I had those, I had a row of daffodils here. That was the first blooms that I had seen in the garden. And then I also had muscari, which I don't think I have any blooms left of the muscari, but this is the remnants of one. And I think it's setting seed, which is so fun. But daylilies are a great plant to hide your daylily foliage because, you know, we need to keep the leaves of the daffodils up so that they can gather energy to bloom next year. And the daylilies kind of hide that and make it look purposeful. And I really like that. You'll see in my other garden, the daffodil foliage is just, I'm tempted to pull it. I honestly am, but I know I won't have daffodils next year if I pull it, so I'm keeping it. So those are the two plants that are consistently border plants all throughout this garden. And then coming in behind, so we kind of have the same plants going on kind of on both sides. So here is it was one Shasta daisy, you guys. I believe this variety is called Betsy Shasta daisy, and I don't know when these guys are supposed to bloom. I didn't see any blooms last year, but they were in pots. So I have two of those, and they are expanding like crazy. They are looking absolutely beautiful. And then coming in behind the Shasta daisies, we have Sweet William. Sweet William is one of my favorite plants. If you have followed my channel in any way, you know that. And I wanted you guys to see them, but we're coming up on kind of the end of their blooms. But that one's pretty fresh. It's absolutely beautiful. They are looking so great. This bloom this year was beautiful. And yeah, they are just spectacular. And then they are also evergreen here in my garden. And then on this side, behind the Sweet William, I have Texas Rock Rose. There are 2 Texas Rock Roses. They started out as little baby tiny plants. I am dealing with some powdery mildew here. I do understand that. Texas Rock Rose are prone to powdery mildew, but from what I am reading, it does not really affect the plant. It just affects, you know, the sight of the foliage. It's unsightly for sure, but it's still blooming. It's about to set its first bloom. I see that one just this morning. It's got lots of buds on it. I have treated it once with a copper fungicide, but this is going to take multiple treatments if I'm going to take care of it. And I'm honestly not sure if it's worth it to me. I may just let that go and see how the plant does. And then coming up on this side behind the Sweet William, I have 2 Summer Pastels yarrow plants, and they are literally taking off, about to be in full bloom. But here is one area that has bloomed. It's just spectacular with those Sweet William. I'm just absolutely loving that look. They are taking over a little more than I thought they would, but I'm really happy about that. It's such a short amount of time for them to just take over like that, and I'm all about it. And then a brand new plant that I just added because these are winter sown seeds. This is Nepeta mucinii. I grew this from seed. I got the seeds from outsidepride.com, and there are 2 of those catmint plants planted there, and they're doing a good job, but I'm afraid they're going to get swallowed by this yarrow and then now by this Echinacea Cheyenne Spirit. So I do have 3 Echinacea Cheyenne Spirits. Let's see if I can find them. Here's 1, here's 2, and then honestly, there's one that maybe got swallowed up back here by the Sweet William. Oh my goodness, where did it go? Let's see if we can find it. Oh, here it is. Oh, this poor thing. Yeah, the Sweet William was really wanting to swallow that up, but pretty soon that Sweet William will be out of bloom. I'll be cutting these bloom heads off to see if I can get a reflash, but that Cheyenne Spirit is still setting buds and getting ready to bloom, so that will be okay. So there are 3 Cheyenne Spirits there that will give me beautiful red and orange and pink blooms. There's that other catmint back there that's kind of spreading this way to get some sunlight. And then right back here, I have a Veronica Pink, I believe. I'll pop the exact name of it on there. I just know it's a pink Veronica. I have another purple Veronica on the other side that I bought last year, and then I grew some pink Veronica by seeds this year. And then I have a Ageratum Leda, again, that I grew from seed. This will be beautiful pink flowers. And as we're coming more on this side of this garden, it's definitely transitioning from full sun to part shade to, I guess you could call it full shade, but not really. It depends on the time of the year, honestly. But we've got tree canopy that has now filled in above us. And so these guys will be dappled shade, like these guys next to the fence are dappled shade almost all day long. So, and these plants actually can take that. So I have Perfectamundo fuchsia carpet there. She just got done blooming. I was so pleased to see her bloom. She's such a tiny, tiny little plant. I purchased it as a quart, like a 4.5 quart. Super, super small, but she is growing and she is doing very well. And then I have a columbine back there and also another columbine here. Again, grown from seed. This one is from Baker's Creek. I'll pop the name of it on the screen, but it was just grown from seed this year. So they will not bloom this year, but they will bloom next spring. And then I have a dianthus there with some pretty pink blooms, a hydrangea back there. That one is one that I propagated. And then this lovely little ground cover that you see is dichondra, because I had a pot back here last season for, I don't know, a month or 2. I had a pot back here that had dichondra in it, and it grew over the side of the pot and rooted itself and survived the winter. So I'm all about that. That's fantastic. And then this cute little shrub that you see Ooh, it has struggled, but I think it's doing okay right now. It is Paisley Pup Dog Hobble. And this is, I guess, its spring color. I'm going to put a picture on the screen of what its normal variegated color is. It's a pink with creams and greens, and it's just absolutely beautiful. But it has struggled so bad, and I thought I was going to lose it, but this is all new foliage, and the new foliage is this lovely bright green color, and I'm assuming it's because that's the spring. I've never had this shrub, but they are supposed to do very, very well in the shade, and they're supposed to be evergreen. But I'm noticing that now that we have new growth, it is losing its prior year's leaves now, but they have stayed on the plant up until now. So I guess you could say it's evergreen. It does have leaves all year round, but it does also lose its leaves from last year. So that's interesting. If you're wondering what this guy is, that is a Yopon holly that was actually native. It is growing in this creek area that's behind us. Just a quick look at this, you guys. This is our borrowed view. This is a creek area of the Louisville Lake watershed that is a protected area, and so our view will never change. It will never be constructed upon in the growth that we have in North Texas, and we will always have this magnificent view that has filled in with all of the foliage. It's so gorgeous. But that Yopon holly is free because it just kind of grew there, and I'm letting it stay because it is a beautiful evergreen shrub. And then lastly, on this side is my Japanese maple. This is an Orangeola Japanese maple, and I only purchased this last October. It's so remarkable. I'm just in love with it. I'm so happy with this purchase. I found it at a really great price, and it's just, oh wow, how spectacular this is. It's kind of a weeping habit, and it's just doing so well. I'm so pleased with it, really truly. Let's go back over here and I'll show you what else is in this side of the garden. This area is definitely more full sun than the other side of the garden would be, and so but then again, we have more of a shade situation way back there, and I'll show you what I put back there. But first is my purple Veronica that I purchased. This one isn't grown from seed, and I don't know the variety because it wasn't tagged with the variety, but it is so striking, and it is doing very well, putting on a bud, its first bud of the year. So I'm very excited to see this guy. And then we have some Russian sage right here. They are also budding up, soaking in that morning sun. They're just so beautiful. I love the contrast of the Russian sage with the daylilies, with the lemon coral. And then, yeah, it's just going to be gorgeous. Behind it is an Alexandrina magnolia that I have in a pot. I got that for free from a promotion that I think one of the energy companies was doing. And so that was free last year. And then this plant, wow. This is one of the most remarkable perennials I think I have, and this is from last year. This is blanket flower, also known as Gaillardia, and it's remarkable, you guys. We're seeing these guys blooming already. This was almost evergreen for me through the winter time. This was the last perennial I had blooming. It bloomed until we had a very hard freeze and the ice. As a matter of fact, I think I had a bloom encased in ice when we had our ice storm in January. So, I mean, this is my longest blooming perennial, my toughest perennial, I think, and it has just taken over. It absolutely loves this part shade kind of spot. And wow, it's doing so good. And then I have another Sweet William here that is bloomin'. Chloe, my backyard garden cat, is along for the ride this morning in this morning's garden tour. And then back here is going to be a mostly shaded situation. It will get a little bit of sun here for about an hour or two, and then it will be in shade for the rest of the day. But this is a Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea, and I purchased this guy as a little bitty guy, and I really thought that I was going to lose it. It took a very long time to leaf out, but it is finally leafing out, and let's see if I can show you. It will bloom. So even as little bitty baby as it was, we are seeing one of the first blooms on it, which is so exciting. That Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea is supposed to be 8 feet tall and wide when it matures. So it has a nice big spot back there to do its thing. And it's going to be remarkable because this is our side yard. This is what we see as we enter through our gate. And so can you guys just imagine that oak leaf hydrangea right there being big and massive and full of pink blooms? I cannot wait for that. But it's still a wonderful view coming around this corner if I didn't have all this mud. So excuse the mud. We had grass. It has just been trampled on by our dogs. And my husband says we're not spending another dime on trying to get grass to grow back here as long as we have dogs. So apparently I'm just going to have a muddy mess, but I'm trying to obey my husband. So there you go. That's why you see what you see. So have a little bit of grace with me as we walk through and see the beautiful gardens, but the muddy mess back here. All right, so let me talk about this part of my garden. This is my shade garden. This is the north side of my house, and this area right here, it is almost 100% all day shade. So I knew that I needed plants that were really, really great with, indirect light. They get dappled light all day long, and some of them don't even get dappled light. It's just indirect light all day. But you can see it is possible here in Texas to have a complete shade garden, and I am so, so thrilled with it. Wow, look at the hostas. Okay, so what you see in the container are hostas, and wow, I haven't seen this in a couple days. I need to put down some Sluggo to take care of these slugs and snails that are eating this one. But this is it's Elabroic, right? No, Blue Elegans hosta, and it's struggling only because it's being chewed on, for heaven's sakes. And it's a little bit more of a slow grower to come back than the rest of the hostas. And then this one is the Elabroic hosta by Blue Label. Like, look how spectacular that is. It's absolutely gorgeous. This one is a proven winners variety that is Shadowland Woo La La. And it's coming back really, really well. And then this is also a proven winners variety, Shadowland Diamond Lake. And look at that. These leaves are massive. Nothing is touching the other hostas. It's only the other Blue Elegans hosta that's being chewed on. But it's just, they're looking so, so beautiful. I'm so glad that I'm able to keep hostas and keep them alive. And it is possible here in Texas. And then the other plants that I have growing in between them, this is an autumn fern, and it's Love and Life. This is all brand new foliage up here. The brand new foliage has emerged, and it's just, but that's all the evergreen foliage that we saw even during our ice storm that never ever died back, which is crazy. I have little bits of liriope also all throughout this bed. This one is a hydrangea. Again, one that I propagated, and I wanted to see if it would bloom in complete shade. And guess what? It will. That's insane. I didn't think it would, honestly, but I wanted to see. And there's Chloe showing it off. And then this is another autumn fern. I loved them so much that I added another one last year, and it already gave me this brand new foliage, and here it is. Like, autumn ferns, oh, they're spectacular. They're perennial. Come back. They're just wonderful. This one is also wonderful. It is leopard plant, also known as tractor seat plant. Gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful foliage plant for the shade. It's just super tough, and I love it so much. And then over here, this guy has struggled only because my puppy has insisted on digging it up, digging it up, digging it up. It has been replanted probably close to 10 times, and I'm not kidding when I say that, you guys, but every time it bounces back. And she hasn't dug it up in a few months, so hopefully she is done with that era of her life. Oh my goodness, it's so frustrating. But this is Sea of Hearts Forget-Me-Not Brunnera by Monrovia, and it is just, like I said, it's a super tough plant. It just keeps coming back. It actually gets a teeny tiny bit of sunlight in the late afternoon. All of these do. This little corner gets a teeny tiny bit of sunlight in the late afternoon, and it does fine, even in the hot summer. So there's my shade garden, and let me show you my full sun garden. So when I thought about this area of my garden, this is like the one area of my backyard plus my patio that gets full all day sun until about 4 p.m. and then this part of the garden is in the shade, which is great. I had envisioned a cottage garden when I created this garden, and I really do think that I'm starting to achieve that. This year, though, it's definitely survival of the fittest. Everything's kind of packed into there, and let me show you what it all is. So this is a lovely spirea. This one is called Double Play Big Bang Spirea, and it is second year in the ground and doing really, really, really well, actually. Blooming its little head off. It's getting big. Getting really big, actually. It's probably doubled in size this year with this new growth, and it's just those beautiful pink blooms. When the foliage comes out with this spirea and the next one I'm going to show you, which is candy corn spirea, the foliage is red. This one's a little more bronzy red, and then orange, and then yellow, and then this green color that you see. It's just spectacular. And then the other spirea that I have is candy corn spirea. This is my favorite spirea by far. I just think the colors on this are so much more striking than any other spirea. Even the flowers, like the flowers are even more vibrant than the other spireas that I see. And when it comes out, that bright red looks like lollipop red leaves that are coming out, and then they turn orange and yellow and then this lime green. Now this year, this candy corn spirea is not as big as it usually is, and the reason is because of the hollyhock that is growing next to it. Holy moly! This is one hollyhock plant, you guys. I knew, so when I did research on hollyhock, they get supposedly 1 to 2 feet wide and of course 5 to 8 feet tall. So the tall part is what I was going for in this. I didn't think it was going to get like right there. I think that's a good 3.5 feet wide right there. I didn't think it was going to get that wide. I didn't think it was going to try to take over this candy corn spirea. Like as you can see, there's a part of this candy corn spirea covered up in leaves, and it's like going back there to try and get some light because it was covered up. Look at that. Oh my goodness. And I have trimmed a lot of these leaves away to try to give candy corn spirea a chance, but the hollyhock just insists on growing and growing and widening and widening, and so there's really not anything I can do about it. But look at this. This is my first hollyhock, you guys, and I'm so proud. This is the variety Summer Carnival. I grew that from seed last year, and of course they don't bloom that first year. They bloom the second year, so these are their very first blooms, and it's just getting ready to put on quite the show. I have multiple bloom stalks. 1, 2, 3, 4 that I can see, but I think I have more bloom stalks that I cannot see, and it's just what a beautiful plant. And they actually do very well here in North Texas, if you're wondering. And then coming along this border is dwarf Ruellia, or dwarf Mexican petunia. And I did have a bloom on this just the other day, which is the earliest I've ever noticed a bloom on the Ruellia. But yeah, it's a great border plant. It's a perennial, and it blooms all summer long. And this one is a pink variety, but they are also available in purple and white. But one thing that's coming into it, 2 things that are coming into it, this yarrow plant. This is one Summer Pastels yarrow. And interestingly enough, it's not quite budding up like the other one is. I did see, where did I see those buds? I was like, oh, there's one bud. That will be a flower stalk. And I think all of these will be flower stalks, but it is trying to take over for sure. And then they actually, I didn't know this, but they spread by rhizomes. I've found it popping up in other areas and pulled it because I want to keep it there. So I'm going to have to keep that guy at bay. The other thing that's coming up all throughout this garden bed, and it's getting tall this year because it has to, is Plumbago ceratostigma. It's a ground cover. this is the most remarkable ground cover that I know of. It has the most true blue blooms in the summertime and then all the way into fall. And it's coming up all over my garden bed, and it's just going everywhere, which it's supposed to. And I'm totally fine by that. As far as I can see, it doesn't affect the other plants that it comes into because it's really just tiny, you know, it's not like completely overtaking them. It's just growing alongside of them. And it will be these beautiful true blue blooms that will be a great pop of color. And then all throughout this garden bed, I have different types of echinacea, and I'll show that to you. So this echinacea right here is white swan echinacea, and it's doing really, really, really well. I have a smaller type of echinacea right here, and this is Sunseeker's Orange. It is the most beautiful color of echinacea, in my opinion. It's this bright orange, and it is so lovely, but it is a smaller variety, and I'm just hoping it doesn't completely get swallowed up by the yarrow and the spirea that's right next to it. So far, it's definitely holding its own. This is the daffodil foliage that I was telling you about. I just gotta let it go, let it grow. And then down here somewhere is a powwow echinacea. There it is. Here is the powwow echinacea, one of them. I have a couple of them back here. So again, this one is another smaller variety, hoping that shouldn't get swallowed up by too much around it. And then that is the other powwow echinacea. Interestingly enough, that one's bigger. And then right over there, that echinacea that you see that's trying to get swallowed by the hollyhocks, but it says, no way, Jose, you're not overpowering me. It is Echinacea purpurea, the toughest and the native echinacea species that we have here in Texas. And I think Echinacea purpurea might be native all around North America, I'm not sure. But it is so tough and so beautiful. It does get large. And again, it's it's got some pressure by the yarrow, some pressure by the hollyhock, but it is doing just fine and holding its own. So I am super happy about that. And let me back up. What you see right here, you almost can't even see the pot already in mid-April, but there is a large terracotta container there, and it's holding a limelight hydrangea that I am training to be a standard. And so these guys are coming in, and this is a spot that I have a hard time keeping limelight hydrangeas alive. So we're going to try it. This is my last time trying it. If I can't get this limelight to survive this season, it'll be okay. I have other limelights that I will show you in just a moment. But this is my last time trying this particular full sun location. They are supposed to be able to take full sun, but that's not always true here in North Texas, and I have lost a few. I'm just keep trying because I really want a limelight hydrangea to be the center of that garden bed. And anyway, so I do have some plants that are bordering there. This is just my hodgepodge container, honestly. This is... You can't see one of their full blooms, unfortunately, because it's kind of out of bloom right now. But this is the Proven Winners Superbena Sparkling Rose. I love this Superbena. It's not as vigorous and tough as some of the other Superbenas, but I just love the pinks and the creams in this. And so I chose that one. This is a dwarf phlox that I grew from seed. So I have quite a few of those. I have one here, I have one there, I have one on the other side. This one is actually a sugar star phlox that my friend Kendall gave me. So that one is doing really well. That's the tall one you see. And then, of course, Blue Days Evolvulus. In these mild temperatures, I love Blue Days. I just can't get Blue Days Evolvulus to keep blooming for me when it gets super hot. I don't know why. It just does not continue blooming for me. But I see others of you in North Texas where it's blooming all the time, and I just, whatever. It is what it is. And then I have a poppy Falling in Love back there. I don't know if it's going to bloom, to be honest. It was grown from seed, and it was free when I purchased my Baker's Creek heirloom seeds. They sent that packet to me for free, so I grew it, but I'm just not sure that that's gonna really do much. I just put it in there because I wanted to see it. So there you go. those are those container plantings. And then, of course, I have plumbago stratostigma all throughout. I have those daffodil blooms. I have a yarrow down there. That one is, I think, Summer Berries, a newer variety to me that I grew just from seed this year. So I popped that in there. Of course, that powwow echinacea. I have Confederate Star Jasmine that is growing along this fence, as well as a native variety that I didn't plant. Carolina snail seed is growing in there, and I'm allowing it to. So there you go. And then, of course, I have a Sweet William there. That Sweet William is actually 4 or 5 years old easily. Actually, I think it's probably 5 years old this year, and it's still going, which Sweet William is very much a biennial, short-lived perennial. It usually dies off after 2 or 3 years, and this guy is still holding strong after 5 years. So that's fun. Coming over this way is my peony. That still hasn't bloomed for me, and I love y'all. Some of you have given me some amazing advice. This year I made sure that it wasn't planted too deeply. It is not. It's planted literally right underneath the surface of the soil. And the only thing I can think of is that it's just not getting cold enough these last 2 winters for this to set bloom. But this is 4 years old and still has not bloomed for me. So next year I'm going to try the ice method. All throughout the winter I'm just going to come over and dump some ice on it, honestly, and see if that works. But otherwise, I mean, I love the foliage as long as it stays this way. But when it gets hot, it's going to be black. And yeah, anyway, coming up behind that, these are going to be Zinnia Giant Double Violet Queen. I believe that's what I put back there. I grew so many from seed that it's kind of all jumbling together, but I'm pretty sure that's the variety of Zinnia that I put back there. And then I have another Echinacea purpurea right there. Moving along, I have an empty spot right there that I put some little milkweed seedlings in. This is just butterfly weed. One of the native varieties of milkweed that we have. And so I put that there hoping that it would do well and take off, but it may not be getting enough sunlight right there. We'll just have to see. And then right in front of me is this beautiful Confederate Star Jasmine vine that is doing lovely. It did not die all the way back this winter, so we're seeing these lovely super fragrant blooms on it. And then there is my clematis. So I'm going to be 100% honest in telling you guys. Okay, so I had planted a sapphire indigo clematis by Monrovia, and I think that plant actually died. And then I had grown 2 different plants, clematis plants from bare root 2 years ago, and it was Jack Monty and HF Young. So all 3 of those types of clematises were in the ground last year, but the Jack Monty and the HF Young were also very, very tiny. And of course, this sapphire indigo clematis was a mature clematis, and that's what I was seeing blooming. Well, the blooms look a little smaller this year, a little different. And I'm struggling to see, I do think that's the sapphire indigo clematis. I'm just not really sure. Like, did it die back and this is the Jack Monty blooms that I'm seeing? You guys tell me what you think if you're seasoned with clematis. Is that Jack Monty, you think, or do you think this is the sapphire indigo? I'm tending to see that sapphire indigo has more than 4 petals, and that's why these are different. These only have 4 petals this year, which is consistent of Jack Monty, I think. So anyways, I guess it doesn't matter. It is absolutely beautiful. I did have some die off, that's for sure. So that's kind of my point of that. Let me know in the comments what you think that is. And then I have a rosemary plant there and a Russian sage there. I have a new phlox over here, and I'll explain why they're in pots in just a moment. Let me just get down there real quick. So I do have these plants in pots right here, and the reason that I do that is because my dogs come in to this area of my garden and trample everything that's there, because this is typically where we have things come into our garden area from the creek. We have raccoons, armadillos, squirrels, things like that. But the raccoons in particular always come in through that portion. And so I guess I could put a gate there and I could put lattice up. So many ideas. But what I decided to do for now is to leave these plants in pots so that I can kind of preserve them a little bit. So yeah, there's a Russian sage that I had left over. It was supposed to go in my shed garden, didn't have room. A volunteer rudbeckia. I have volunteer strawberries, which are from this strawberry planter. I have rudbeckia that I grew from seed this year. And then I found this phlox, opening act ultra pink. And I thought, I'm going to try phlox. I've never tried like the full grown phlox before. Some of you have success here in North Texas and some of you don't. So I'm just like, well, let's just take a look and find out. I don't know. It maybe has a little bit of fungus right now, but otherwise looks pretty good. These are new blooms. So I think it's doing okay there. This is more of a full sun situation, full sun / part sun for sure. And I think that phlox hopefully will do well. And then this is another pot, and this one is the giant double queen. So that makes me oh, the other one I think is State Fair. State Fair zinnia was planted over there. This is my giant double queen zinnia, which is already blooming, and look at that lovely bloom. They're going to be gorgeous there. All right, so this area is more of a troublesome area. It doesn't look as great, so grant me some grace. It's just kind of an ever-changing environment down here, and it's hard to get things to grow, and it's just interesting. But I have a sunshine ligustrum right here that they're only supposed to get 4 to 5 feet tall and wide, and this guy is easily 8 to 9 feet tall, and I have trained it into tree form. And so yeah, that's what you see. And that has provided tons of shade for this area, whereas usually it was a full sun garden bed. So I've had to kind of change things up, and I'm still figuring out what can grow down here. I did grow some ajuga from seed. I tried burgundy glow ajuga, which there's still teeny tiny remnants of burgundy glow, but they died off. And so now I'm trying a different variety of ajuga, just the general big type of ajuga. And so far it's doing well. I have a little bit more to plant. I just haven't finished planting that in. And then right here is a Confederate Star Jasmine again. Oh, that's right. This guy's covered up because I don't want the dogs to trample on it. But this is a pink Veronica. One of them looks like it's dying off. The other one is doing good because there's 2 of them planted there. So I think that's doing okay. The jasmine's kind of becoming a little bit of a ground cover, I see. I have a Texas sage there, but again, it's not super happy because it does not get enough sun because of this sunshine ligustrum. And then I have some Echinacea purpurea. There's one right here and one right there. There's little babies of Echinacea purpurea popping up all throughout, which I'm fine with. And then there is a limelight hydrangea. This guy was propagated from some of my other cuttings in previous years. This is a couple years old, and it does okay over here in this part shade / shade location. And then I do have to also preface, you're going to see a bunch of little tiny grasses and maybe even like, anyway, we have a bird feeder right here, and so the birds do tend to get messy and make this area totally like grassy and things. It's hard for me to get down here and pick all of the vines and all of the grass out, and I do need to put some mulch down here. So again, a little bit of grace as gardeners, right? I haven't gotten to it all, but I'm trying. These 2 little guys, and then I have 2 on the other side over there. This is dwarf Tithonia, Mexican sunflower. It's incredible, you guys. It's the most amazing pollinator magnet I have ever grown. But last year, the regular Tithonia grew 12 to 15 feet tall. It was overtaking everything, and seedlings are popping up everywhere from it too. But anyway, it's remarkable. It is vibrant orange. It is lovely. I cannot wait to grow this dwarf variety this year. And another Confederate Star Jasmine, doing really well. I have 2 daylilies. Do not remember their names. Again, these guys have struggled as well, just kind of being trampled by dogs and things, chasing after the squirrel that's trying to get to the bird feeder. Oh, it's just a process. Oh, it just never ends, you guys. And then I have something new here. So I had coral honeysuckle planted here, and we had an irrigation line that we had to dig up and replace. And so I had to cut all of the roots to the coral honeysuckle. They were right on top of that irrigation line, and it did not like it. It did not survive. And so I got this plant, which I just recently made a video about it. If you want to know all about it, this is Scentlandia Sweet Spire. And it is just the most versatile shrub. It can grow in sun or shade, moist soil or dry soil. And it is very, very hard to find a plant like that. So if you want to see more about that plant, then definitely watch that video. But I'm so happy to add that to my garden this year. And I've got volunteer cannas popping up as well. I just used to grow them, don't anymore. Let me get up here and I'll show you the rest of everything. So planted in the ground, I have 4 trellises in the ground down here. This is my patio, but it is kind of a steep drop down there. And there are 4 Tangerine Beauty crossvines that are planted there. And this is their 4th year. And they are just the most spectacular perennial vine. They are my favorite perennial vine. Again, I have a video about them. Wow. The bloom this year was insane. It was so incredibly gorgeous. They have a full bloom in early spring. I'll pop a picture on the screen for you so you can see. And what you're seeing here, this is just a rebloom. So this is the best rebloom that I've ever had on my Tangerine Beauty crossvine, but I just think as this plant matures and grows, the blooms just get better and better. The reblooms just get better and better, and it's just, oh, I just love this plant so very much. It might be my favorite plant. Definitely my favorite perennial vine. It might be my favorite plant now, replacing hydrangeas. But it's so beautiful. Look at that. Oh, I just love that view. So, I wanted to mention as well that you're going to see, you saw containers all throughout my garden. I also have plants that haven't been planted yet, still trying to figure things out. I'm still building containers and still getting things for my front garden as well. But I do a completely separate container garden tour. So while I'm showing these containers to you, you will hear all about them in my container garden tour, which should come out in the next week or so. But I just love container gardening. It is a way for me to expand what I'm growing because my gardens are limited in space. And so anyway, there's a little sneak peek of those. Look at that. That is a container, but I'm going to show it to you because it's just so spectacular. Look at this. Ah, it's so pretty. Star jasmine that's growing in this container, and it's just in full bloom. This one does the best out of all of them. It's just, it smells so good. I wish you guys could have smell-o-vision because it just, the smell is just incredible. So great. And so the last part of my garden is this side garden right here. And this is the most like unkept of my garden spaces. I do not get back here as frequently as I want to. And then I have a little bit of things to tweak. We need to put down mulch. We need to do things back here. But it still is looking fairly decent. So I'm going to show you what we got here. Tithonia seedlings and weeds, obviously. But this is a foxglove. New this year that I'm growing from seed. This is Foxglove Excelsior. It is supposed to bloom first year, but I think that's only if you plant it in the fall. I have 2 of those. But this one is what's disappointing. I planted this in the ground, grew it from seed last year. I should be seeing a bloom stalk. It should be blooming right now, and it's not. This gets 4 hours of midday sun, which I thought would be fine for a foxglove, but maybe not. Anyway, there's another Foxglove Excelsior, Volunteer Canna. Here's my other peony that's still, again, same situation, 4 years old, has not bloomed. And then this is Greg's Mist Flower that's coming up. It's a really super, super tough, Texas tough plant. And then right here is Scabiosa, or pincushion flower that my friend Aida gave me from her garden. So those are lovely pink, purple blooms. Here is more pink Veronica. You can tell I planted these from seed and I just wanted to plant them everywhere. I love Veronica, you guys. This foliage is from an amaryllis that hasn't bloomed. It's too young to bloom, I think. And then I have a boxwood. There's Miss Chloe, of course. Let's see. Behind the boxwood, behind this daylily, which is gonna bloom pretty soon, I have what's left of my amaryllis blooms. Look at that sweet, beautiful bloom. And then my red ones as well. The red ones are rapido. This one I think is apple blossom. Wow, it was just striking when it was all in bloom. This is about a week ago, but that one is rapido amaryllis, and it's also really gorgeous. We can keep amaryllis in the ground. Typically it's very marginal, but they have survived for me the last couple years all through the winter. So I have my little amaryllis patch back there. I have some purple heart that's growing. I hope that it expands, but it seems to be thinning every year. And then this guy is my Mystic Spires blue salvia. I transplanted this guy from a container on my curb, and it's just the most spectacular salvia, you guys. It's setting its blooms, about to bloom. It's in this part shade location now instead of full sun, but I think it's going to be just as happy. It's doing really, really well. And then from here on, I have 6 hydrangea macrophylla that I envisioned would be like a hedge. It has not worked that way. Each one of them is kind of its own size. They're struggling just a little bit. They did not thrive the way that I thought that they would, but it's okay. But this one's doing pretty good. It's setting on some blooms. I have to hit these guys with soil acidifier and iron chelated iron quite frequently to keep them happy. This garden bed is fairly new. It's only 2 years old, and so the soil is heavily clay, heavily clay. I have amended it with compost. I wish I had known at that time I could use expanded shale as well to amend this clay soil. If I had it over to, again, I would do that. But if I do dig these up and plant something new, then I definitely will be using expanded shale as well as compost to continue to amend this soil. But again, it also needs mulch too. But I have some heuchera here that is fabulous. This one is the caramel heuchera. I had another heuchera that did not survive over there, and I think I had another one over there. But this is a survivor, and it's doing great. Another hydrangea, and then another heuchera or coral bell. This one is onyx, which is so lovely. So lovely. And then this guy is a volunteer. It came back. Did not die completely back in the winter storm or the ice storms, and this is just a normal wax leaf pink begonia, which I usually like to plant these back here for a little added color. And then another heuchera. This one's blooming. I believe this one is Georgia peach, and it's gorgeous. And then my last hydrangea is there. I have a volunteer something or other here, and I think it's a sunflower from bird seed. So I just thought, you know what, let's do it. So this right here is all dappled shade. You can see what's part sun. It's about starting to get its 4 hours of midday sun over there, which is a part sun bed. This is all dappled shade because we have a crepe myrtle ahead of us. Look at Chloe. She's so cute. And then over here is more part shade. So that starts about right here, and then it gets 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. full midday Texas sun. So what I've got going on first and foremost is this ginormous oak leaf hydrangea. And last year it stayed, what was I going to say? It stayed within its limits, I should say. It didn't start to outreach its limits, but this year it is outreaching its limits. This is supposed to be a dwarf Alice in Wonderland oak leaf hydrangea. It actually says dwarf on it. It is not. I'm sorry. This is 9 feet tall. 8 to 9 feet tall at the very top. I can see it from my kitchen window, which I do love. And it's trying to get 8 to 9 feet wide as well. And so picture my Gatsby pink oak leaf hydrangea. It's going to look like this when it gets full size, which I'm very excited about. I left it room for sure. But this guy, after it's done blooming, I'm going to prune it pretty heavily to try to keep it down to oh, she scared me. You scared me. To try to get it down to a more manageable size because it's trying to take over the other things that are here. So one of the things is pink Turk's cap, and my pink Turk's cap did really well last year. It still puts on blooms. It came out really early this year, which last year it came out really late. So I'm happy about that. This is a peach colored daylily. And yeah, and then I have that oak leaf. But look at these oak leaf blooms. Oak leaf hydrangeas are actually very, very, very tough blooms. You could get an idea of how big that bloom is with my hand. Now, I do have a small hand, but it is larger than the size of my hand. And it's just, blooms are everywhere. Everywhere. It's just so awesome. I love, 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 love this plant. So beautiful. So there you go. I definitely need to get some mulch back here. I just haven't gotten to mulching. I've been so focused on planting all of the plants because I grew over 500 plants this year. Not all of them for my garden, by the way. More than half of them given away. But yeah, that's what I've been focused on, just trying to find room for all of the plants that I want to grow. So that concludes my backyard garden tour for this April of 2026, y'all. I thank you so much for coming along with me and viewing my garden. I hope that you have found some inspiration. Look at that. Wow. I'm so thrilled about how things are shaping up this year. I really, really am. And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for watching today. If you like what you saw and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me so very much. And comment down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your garden is doing this April. I would love to hear all about it. And thank you all so much. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Bye-bye, everybody.